Hey guys, what's up? It's Kyle here. You know what this is just by pointing and looking at the hat. Just getting off of work not too long ago. Excuse me, not too long ago, maybe about 20 minutes ago, just getting off of work and slipping some more comfortable clothes. Before I get into this rant video and tell you what it's about, I want to let you guys know that I'll be doing another Q&A session video this Saturday. I had already made my Ask Me Anything video to give everybody a heads up, like, hey, I'm doing a Q&A vid this Saturday. So, letting everyone else know I'm doing another Q&A vid this Saturday. It'd be like the same thing I did last time, except the questions you guys can ask me, it doesn't have to be wrestling related. So, if you want, once again, leave any questions that you have in the comments below on my Ask Me Anything vid, or private message me pertaining to anything pertaining to wrestling or non-wrestling related things. You guys can ask me, and I'll do my Q&A vid this Saturday. If I don't get any questions in, then obviously I can't do the Q&A vid. But anyway, on to this rant video and what it's about. I thought I was done ranting on Hulk Hogan, and I thought I got it out of my system and stuff, talking about why, TNA re-signed him and stuff in my video that I made a couple of days ago. But it seems that Hulk Hogan, he still, what should I say? He still adds more coal to the fire of rage that I have towards him. I don't know if you guys have ever heard, but there's a wrestling radio show called Busted Open. And they come off the Cyrus radio network, and they get interviews, like real legit, like interviews and stuff from different wrestlers. WWE, TNA, doesn't matter. But like off the record type of interviews with wrestlers. And because I always get email stuff sent from them, because I'm like part of the membership or whatever, they always send emails on giving people a heads up on their interviews. Wrestlers that they're going to interview and have as guests or whatever. And so they had one on Hulk Hogan. So I think Hulk Hogan did this radio yesterday. They aired their Busted Open radio show. They air on the Cyrus radio, I think, from every Monday and Wednesday, I think from like 2 to 3 or 2 to 4, something like that. But anyway, so they had an interview with Hulk Hogan yesterday, I think, and they'll play it on the air radio, I think, today at 3. So anyway, like I said, they gave me, send me an email, and these are some of the highlights of some stuff that Hulk Hogan has said about Bobby Roode and how he doesn't think Bobby Roode is a main eventer and he's not the guy. So just some highlights here. So they ask him, basically, do you think Robert Roode is ready? Hulk Hogan says, nah, he's not ready. He's not the next guy. They might think he is. Dixie Carter might think he is. The whole world might think he is. He's not the next guy. If I had to bet my money on anybody and really seriously be betting my money on anybody, I'd say Jeff Hardy is the next guy. If he keeps his act together, that's what you gotta have, man. It's much more than being a wrestler. This crossing barriers, media barriers, and the entertainment barriers of all kinds. Getting your character down has 90% to do with getting over. I just have a very strong feeling Kurt Angle is going to clean his clock performance-wise. Talking about Bobby Roode, saying that he thinks that Kurt Angle is going to clean Bobby Roode's clocks performance-wise this Sunday and carry the match and basically remains the champion. He's training for the Olympics. Kurt Angle has had some up and down moments, and I think this is not going to be a down moment for Kurt Angle. So I'm betting that farm on him. So he's basically saying he doesn't think Bobby Roode is a main eventer. He doesn't think Bobby Roode is ready for this push that he's been getting. And, he doesn't think, whoever it is, Dixie or the whole world might think he is, but he doesn't think he's ready. And he thinks that Kurt Angle is going to out-wrestle Bobby Roode, as well as basically carry a majority of the match in this Bobby Roode Kurt Angle match at Bound for Glory. And another couple of highlights here. I'm talking about where he goes down was talking about his match against Sting for Bound for Glory. I'm not going to read the whole thing, just the just a tad bit of it, where he says that the main event is Kurt Angle, thank God, and Bobby Roode stepped up, and he's definitely become a presence. So I'm betting the farm on Kurt Angle, and I guess I'm kind of like the icing on the cake. Sting and I have a crazy track record with pay-per-view buy numbers, and it just made sense to give everybody a little extra and let everybody know. And it's not a performance-oriented match. Of course, none of them work for me anyway. Let me just go down and talk about some more stuff. But, okay, so this little passage here he talks about, I'm talking about Bound for Glory. He says the main event is Kurt Angle, thank God, and says, and Bobby Roode stepped up. So it's like he's completely not acknowledging Bobby Roode whatsoever. And he says that, his match with Sting, he thinks is just kind of like the icing on the cake. And Sting and I have a crazy track record with pay-per-view buy numbers, and it's just made sense to give everybody a little extra. What the hell are you talking about? Your match with Sting is the only stink on the pay-per-view that makes a lot of people don't even want to buy the entire pay-per-view. The Bound for Glory pay-per-view from top to bottom, minus the Sting Hogan match, it's a great card. It's got me intrigued to buy and look at the pay-per-view and watch the pay-per-view. I'm pretty sure it's got some other people interested in buying the pay-per-view. But you mean to tell me your match with Sting is the extra icing on the cake, and you want to give fans, you think it makes sense to give fans a little bit of extra, something that they want to see? Fans don't want to see Hogan versus Sting. You guys have fought like what? How many times in WCW? Like 20 times? Nobody wants to see this. You guys are way past your prime. Well, Sting's way past his prime, can barely have a good match anymore. You can't have a match at all. So what the hell are you talking about extra icing on the cake? If anything, the Bobby Roode Kurt Angle match is the only seller and only reason why people are intrigued into buying this pay-per-view. Okay, so yeah, you announcing your match against Sting. Okay, yeah, you get a little buzz here from TMZ and a little buzz there from ESPN, have a little interview there. But as far as wrestling fans wanting to buy this pay-per-view, it ain't because of you, Hogan. Please get your head far up out of your ass and see some light, please, because that's a load of bull crap. That's a load of BS. It really is. And then I'm trying to look at some other stuff that he had kind of mentioned here too. Oh, okay. And then he goes on and talks about Jeff Hardy. And he says that if I had to bet my money on anybody and really be serious about betting my money on anybody, I say Jeff Hardy's the next guy if he keeps his act together. I think he's got a lot of shine to him. I mean, he just doesn't have 5-star matches. He shines outside the ring. He walks through the mall, and people know who he is. He's got a look. He's got an air about him. He's got that it factor. That's what you got to have, man. This is much more than being a wrestler. This is crossing barriers, media barriers, and entertainment barriers of all kinds. And I think the kid, Jeff Hardy, has the potential to really be the guy. Now, I admit with that, Jeff does have an X factor, and it does have to be, he is, the guy. But what really pisses me off about this is that who is Hulk Hogan to say who's the main eventer, who's not? Okay, really. Bobby Roode, in my opinion, and I think I can get some people to back up with me on this 110%, Bobby Roode is a main eventer. He's a good talker. He has a good look. The only difference between Bobby Roode and Jeff Hardy is that Jeff Hardy has had the resources, or not even resources, but Jeff Hardy has had the chance to display his talents on a much bigger scale, under a bigger microscope, such as the WWE. Bobby Roode, however, has never had that chance like Jeff has had. Bobby has only been, in TNA, he's done some indie stuff. So obviously, of course, nobody's going to know Bobby Roode on a national scale because he hasn't been able to showcase his talent on a larger stage like the WWE, like Jeff Hardy has. So obviously, if you see Jeff down in the street, of course you're going to say, "Oh, this guy has it," because he's everyone has seen Jeff Hardy with the in the biggest stage of them all with the lights on bright. Bobby, however, he's never had that opportunity or that chance. But who's to say that Bobby doesn't have the it factor? To me, I think Bobby does have the it factor. He has. I do think he has the wrestling ability as well as I think he has the look, and he does have the mic skills. Who the hell are you, Hulk Hogan, to say who's a main eventer and who's not a main eventer? Hold on just for one quick sec. Sorry about that, guys. Had some leftover pizza I put in the oven and just remembered, and I didn't want it to burn. Sorry about that. But on to my rant. Who the hell are you, Hulk Hogan, to say who's a main eventer, who's not a main eventer? That's the same mentality Hulk Hogan had in WCW. He wouldn't let people get over on him at all whatsoever. That's the same mentality Hulk Hogan had when he came back in WWE. He wouldn't let guys get over him. Hulk Hogan didn't want The Rock to get over him at Mania 18. Hulk Hogan had a problem with that. He didn't like that. He didn't want that. Hulk Hogan didn't want Ultimate Warrior to get over on him in WrestleMania. I think what was it, Mania 7 or 8, something like that. But still, Hulk Hogan, you don't know talent if it kicked you straight in the balls. You wouldn't know good talent. You wouldn't know a main eventer. I guess you say, if you look at CM Punk, I guess you say, oh, CM Punk's a tweener, and CM Punk's not this, and CM Punk's not that. CM Punk's not a main eventer. He doesn't have it. I bet he said the exact same thing. I bet he probably said guys like Daniel Bryan don't have it. Who the hell are you, Hulk Hogan, okay, to come in and say who's a main eventer and who's not a main eventer? I'm telling you, I respect Hulk Hogan's his legacy that he's left in the wrestling business. Okay? All right? Yes, you have laid your footprints in the sands of wrestling. Okay? You've taken wrestling to new heights. Okay? But your days are over, buddy. Okay? Say your prayers and eat your vitamins. Hulkamania is not going to live forever. It's been dying down over the last 5 years when you came back in WWE, and now in 2011, it's completely dead. Nobody wants to see Hulkamania. Nobody wants to see you, Hulk Hogan. Yeah, okay, yeah, you still have some Hulk Hogan fans out there, but that's only because those Hulk Hogan fans or Hulkamaniacs, you like to call them, the only reason why they're still cheering you is because they're still entwined and remember the good old days when they were 8, 9-year-old little kids looking at their sitting in the front room, looking at their TV and watching you and feeling the Hulkamania and really getting into your character. That's the only reason why. But if these adults would grow up and get out of touch with their child feelings and what they felt for you as a child, then trust me, brother, you wouldn't be having as many fans as you think you have. Okay? If people would wake up and smell the coffee. Okay? Now, I was a big Hogan fan in WCW because that's the Hulk Hogan I grew up watching, not the one, say a person Travaianas from the 1980s in WWF. I was a Hollywood Hogan fan in WCW, part of the NWO, and that was hot and stuff, But you know what? After hearing what Hulk Hogan just said there about Bobby Roode, it just put a bad bitter taste in my mouth. I had no respect for Hulk Hogan at all. After reading these highlights that I got from my email, my respect for Hulk Hogan are completely gone. They are completely gone. I mean, it's out the window. Out the window, never come back. I'll give him credit for the things he's done in the business, but I mean, like I said, you've laid your footprints in the sand for wrestling. It's time for you to move on, okay? Hulkamania is dead. It's gone. No one wants to see you in the ring anymore whatsoever. You have a ton of money. Why don't you go back to your California dream house and finish the and chill with your wife or whatever. Your wife that's the same age as your daughter. Why don't you do that with your fake wife? Do that, but don't come on here and if we're crying out loud, you work in TNA, and this goes back to Dixie too, because you have to blame Dixie for this, because this is a guy you have, okay, working in your company, and he's taking shots at your talent. How do you allow that? I mean, if I was Dixie Carter, I'd be pissed as hell that Hulk Hogan is coming on this radio show and talking about one of my employees, one of my talents, somebody that I'm invested in to be the next big thing that I trust and I know who can carry the torch. I'd be pissed off as hell that Hulk Hogan will come here and take a jab at my talent. If Hulk Hogan was in WWE, Vince would never allow that. If Hulk Hogan was on this radio show and he was on the WWE right now, Hulk Hogan would not be taking a jab. You would not hear him take a jab on CM Punk. You won't hear him take a jab at John Cena. You won't hear him take a jab at Daniel Bryan or Wade Barrett or Sheamus or any other talent that he may think that's not any other wrestler in WWE that he thinks that may not be talent or have the it factor. You wouldn't hear Hogan talk about them on this radio show or taking jabs and knocks at them if he was under WWE right now. Why? Because you know why? Papa Vince will get into that ass. Yes, you will. Okay? Hogan can't tell me a darn thing about stars. Okay? The NWO, it was hot. It was great when it was, for what it was. It's dead. NWO, it's gone. You can't rehash it, and you can't recreate the NWO and what it was with a whole bunch of jobbers and calling them immortal. Bunch of crap. Bull. BS. You can't relive the Hulkamania days. Those days are over, okay? Hulk Hogan, you may be one of the greatest characters of all time, but you certainly are in hell. You're not one of the greatest wrestlers of all time whatsoever. You couldn't talk people in the building if your life depended on it. You only got 5 sets of moves. I mean, come on. I mean, the leg drop, one of the most ridiculous moves of all time. So don't tell me that you don't think Bobby Roode's not ready. It's just more than being a wrestler. Bobby Roode is half plus. Bobby Roode's not even half. Bobby Roode is 1,000,000 times the wrestler you are, Hulk Hogan. If you were still in your prime right now wrestling Bobby Roode would out-wrestle you, outshine you, out-talk you any day of the week, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Okay? So don't tell me that at all whatsoever. And then here's another highlight from the interview that they had from his radio show. They asked him about AJ Styles. Asking, if it's like, is it too late or whatever for AJ Styles to get back up on top? And he says it's never too late. I mean, I just don't know. When I first came in, all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed a couple of years ago, I had tons of suggestions, which I was kind of pushing real hard for, which I thought would make him to crazy level, which would take him to crazy levels, and nobody responded. So I don't know at this point. I have my ideas, but a lot of things that I believe in, and what I know about this business, sometimes it's either taken and used, or it isn't, or it doesn't work at all. It's not. Yeah, he says, or it's not. Let me rephrase that. He says. Hold on, wait. Let me just start over again. I kind of lost my place here. When I asked him about AJ Styles, it's never too late. Hogan says it's never too late. I mean, I just know when I came in, all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed a couple of years ago, I had tons of suggestions, which I was kind of pushing real hard for, which I thought would make AJ Styles, which would take AJ Styles to crazy, crazy levels, and nobody responded. So I don't know at this point. I have my ideas, but a lot of things that I believe in and what I feel from the crowd and what I know, the little I know about this business, sometimes it's either taken and used or used and doesn't work, or it's not used at all. So it's just my opinion. I don't know at this point. Okay, so you're talking about AJ Styles saying it's never too late and all this other stuff here. Okay, so you're saying AJ Styles, for AJ Styles, it's never too late. And he had some ideas that would have taken AJ Styles to crazy, crazy levels, but nobody responded. You know what? It's probably a good thing no one responded, because anytime you don't think Bobby Roode's the main eventer, then I'm pretty sure whatever ideas you had for AJ Styles, it would have put AJ Styles way at the bottom of the barrel than the position that he's currently in right now in TNA. So I'm glad Dixie, Russo, whoever did not listen to Hogan's ideas that he had for AJ Styles, I'm glad you guys didn't listen. And then he's going to say, he says, he knows a lot of things and a lot of things that he believes in and what he feels from the crowd. Okay, you say you know a lot of things about this business and what you feel from the crowd. Actually, Hogan, you don't feel a darn thing from the crowd, okay? Because the stuff that you're feeling from the crowd in the Impact Zone aren't real wrestling fans. They're just tourists. Of course, they're going to cheer you because you're a celebrity. They're just tourists because you're a celebrity. That's the feeling you're getting from the crowd in TNA. But if you were around real wrestling fans, okay, not in Orlando studios, but around real hardcore TNA fans or wrestling fans in general, the real feeling you'd get, it wouldn't be a good feeling, okay? People will be having pitchforks and torches and be booing you out of TNA and be hoping to God. I know I was one of them that TNA didn't resign you, but unfortunately, that's TNA. Obviously, they don't want anything good or better for their company at all whatsoever. So they decided to resign you. But either way, I'm still one of those fans who are waiting the day, hoping the day that you get the hell up out of TNA and you never, ever return. I'd rather have TNA's ratings just stagnate and stay the same that it's been for so many years than have it stay the same or drop with you in the driver's seat. I really do. I want you out of TNA. Hulk Hogan is a freaking cancer to TNA. If TNA ever falls and crumbles, it's going to be because of Hulk Hogan. It'll be a multiple thing, but the biggest thing that will put the nail in the coffin for TNA would be Hulk Hogan. TNA, you guys need to wake up, because this guy is literally off his rockers. I mean, he's talking about here, saying he doesn't think Bobby's ready. He's not the next guy, They might think he is. Dixie Carter might think he is. The whole world might think he is. But he's not the next. But he's not the next guy. Who the hell are you talking about? Who's the main eventer and who has it? Who has it? You're certainly not the it factor, because you're so old and brittle. You take one wrong bump and you turn into sand. Literally. Who are you to say who's the main eventer and who has it and who doesn't? Hogan, get the hell up out of here with that bull crap. That's complete bull ass. And then they're gonna say he thinks Kurt Angle is gonna claim Bobby Roode's clocks performance wise and carry majority of the match and basically remains the champion. Kurt is trained for the Olympics and he's been up and down and Kurt has had some up and down moments, and he thinks that this is not gonna be a down moment for Kurt Angle. So I'm betting my farm on him. And then he's gonna say he thinks that his match with Sting has icing on the cake, that he and Sting have a track record of pay-per-view buy rates. Yeah, 15 years ago, when Sting was still in his prime and when you were still somewhat mobile, of course you had buy rates. You guys could still go. Sting doesn't have a good match anymore. To me, I think Sting's last good match he had, in my opinion, was against AJ Styles at Bound for Glory 2009. And he had and I thought he had a pretty good match for what it was against Mr. Anderson at Slammiversary this year. But that's it. Sting wasn't having good matches anymore, and you're in a position where you can't have a match anymore if you wanted to. I mean, hell, Ric Flair can still take some bumps and still wrestle in some matches. You can't even risk that. I mean, just complete utter bullcrap. I mean, this pisses me off to the point where I want to follow Hulk Hogan on Twitter and give him a piece of my mind. Is that ridiculous? You know, some people may think I'm taking this way out of hand, but it pisses me off. It really does. You know, continuously, you know, Hulk Hogan. And like I said, I also blame Dixie Carter for this because there's been others. This is not the first time somebody's taken a jab at TNA or the talent. Rob Van Dam, if you guys remember, Rob Van Dam had said some stuff on Twitter talking about TNA, how he thinks a lot of the young guys are just jealous because of him and Jeff, because he and Jeff are rock stars, and that they brought the company, you know, they brought more awareness to the company. Or when Matt Hardy said on his Twitter, talking about TNA's ratings have gone up since Matt and Jeff came in. You're welcome, TNA. You know, stuff like that. I mean, and now Hulk Hogan taking the jab at Bobby Roode. This all goes back to Dixie Carter. This shows Dixie does not have control of her company whatsoever. Anytime she lets her talent, whether they come from WWE or not, but but most of these guys have came from WWE. Most of these guys come out on Twitter or on these radio shows and they take jabs at the TNA roster, or they take jabs at the company. That's the problem. You will never hear stuff like this if people are in WWE. Never. Not even on WWE's Twitter. I follow pretty much every wrestler on Twitter. I follow CM Punk. I follow I follow Chris Jericho on Twitter. I follow Dolph Ziggler on Twitter. I follow Christian on Twitter. I follow Edge on Twitter. You never, ever, ever hear these guys take jab at WWE. If anybody in WWE takes a jab at the WWE, it would be when they're no longer employed by the WWE. When they're in the unemployment line and not working for WWE, okay, yeah, sure, they take as many jabs as they want. Like, for instance, Sean Helms, or Gregory Helms, whatever you want to call him, Gregory Helms. You know, guys like him take jabs at WWE all day long. He gets in interviews, bashes WWE all day long, and talks about the problems from crap and politics within WWE. He can do that. He can get away with it. Why? Because he's not employed by WWE anymore. But guys like CM Punk and Dolph Ziggler and even Chris Jericho can take a jab, but he hasn't taken any jabs at WWE. But still, all these guys who are in WWE, contracted in WWE, and have Twitter, you don't hear them at all taking jabs and stuff like that. Why? Because it's going to get back up to Vince, and Vince is going to discipline them for it. Whether it be take them off TV, or they take a nasty bump where, you know, they fall down the ladder. They're not on the spot that, you know, that they were at anymore. When WWE knocks them down a few pegs, either way they're going to get disciplined if word gets back that they badmouth the company or talent in any way. But to have Hulk Hogan take a jab at AJ Styles and Robert Roode, especially, you know, to have Rob Van Dam, you know, take jabs at TNA, you know, things like this year and last year on Twitter, talking about the Young Bucks and how they're disrespectful and they're just kids and stuff like that, and talking about the whole roster and saying, you know, Jeff Hardy and I are rock stars, and a lot of the talent and team, they're unappreciative, and they should be appreciative that we're here because we're doing this and that for the company. Or even Matt Hardy, when he said on Twitter earlier this year, talking about ratings have gone up since the Hardy brothers came in. You're welcome, TNA. That right there, it shows you Dixie has no control of her company. Anytime she has guys within her company taking jabs with the talent and in the company, it doesn't make sense to me at all, whatsoever. So this is my freaking rant on Hulk Hogan talking about Bobby Roode, taking a dash at Bobby Roode and saying how he doesn't think he's ready for the main event spot, and how he thinks Kurt Angle is going to out wrestle and carry majority of this match and Bound for Glory. I mean, just total 100,000% BS. It really is. I'm really pissed off at Hogan. My respect for Hogan is completely out the window starting today. It's out, and it'll never come back. So let me know what you guys think about this topic. Comment, subscribe, like the vid, and once again, like I said, I'm doing another Q&A vid this Saturday. It could be pertaining to wrestling or non-wrestling related things at all. So yeah, leave your comments on this video, private message me, or leave a comment on my Ask Me Anything video, which was giving you guys a heads up that I was going to do this Q&A vid this Saturday. So once again, let me know what you guys think. Peace out.